Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is the match preview for Sunderland versus Everton. Right, Sunderland. They scare me. I'll be honest, they do actually scare me. Their previous 5 games, they've actually done really well. I believe it's like 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Whereas us, it's 3 losses, 1 win, 1 draw. We're not doing great, to be honest. Now, I can't say we're not doing great. Actually, we're doing better than we were last season. I mean, this time last season, we were on 9 points. Right now, we're on 11. Also, this time last season, I don't think we played much of the Big Six so far. We played half of them. I'll say Big Six, more like Sky Six. So taking that all into account, I think we're actually doing reasonably well. The only thing right now is more the fact that we can't really score. But I digress. Let's talk about our opposition first. Right, Sunderland. Now, over the past decade, they have basically went from Premier League Championship down to League One. They've done a massive rebuild, brought themselves back up into the Championship, battled through there for a bit, and they've got themselves right back into the Premier League. They've done an amazing job of basically going from the top down to the bottom, all the way back up to get up again. And you know what? The way they're playing at the moment, if they can keep playing the way they are, I've got no worries in them going back down, because I know for a fact they'll be staying up. Because let's be honest, the point tally that you have to get to stay in the Premier League normally is about 40, maybe 35 in some situations. When you have really bad teams, it can be a lot lower. Around 30 sometimes can be the very bare minimum that you need to stay up. It's been rare though. And the way the likes of Wolves and West Ham are playing right now, and hell, even to a lesser extent Nottingham Forest, I don't have much of a worry for the likes of Sunderland and co. Hell, even Leeds or even Burnley. The 3 of them might even be bloody hell, one of the first times they could be part of the teams for the first time in quite a while where all 3 promoted teams stay up. It's a rare one. I can't remember in physical memory when the last time that's happened, but I have a good feeling that the bottom 3 right now is going to stay the bottom 3. The likes of Forest under Sean Dyche, don't get me wrong, he's steadied the ship a little bit, but it's just not going to last. It really isn't going to last. And on top of that, if they don't start getting win after win after win, their owner is going to kick Dyche out the door very, very quickly. Even though he's one of those managers that helps sort of steady the ship in a crisis, their owner is expecting them to get win after win after win. He's expecting the likes of Sean Dyche to rock up to the likes of the Bernabeu and walk out with a 3-0 win. And if he doesn't, well, he better get his P45 ready and start updating his LinkedIn. But I digress. This is about Sunderland and Everton. I am going to go off topic a lot. So yeah, previous 5 games. I've got both of them right here. So this one, Sunderland. This is the problem with this bloody camera. Right now, images are flipped. This text is proper and normal, everything, that's great. But the image right now is flipped. So when I want to do my left hand, which is this one, it shows the blue side, and it shows basically over here when it should be, But yeah. So this is Sunderland, Everton, previous 5 games. I've got to get it off my phone, though. Okay, so let's have a look at the previous 5 games for Sunderland. So their previous 5 games, they beat Chelsea 2-1. They beat Wolves 2-0. They lost to Man United by 2-0. Beat Forest 1-0. And drew to Aston Villa 1-0. Everton, on the other hand, we've lost to Tottenham 3-0. Lost to Man City 2-0. Beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Drew to West Ham 1-0. And lost to the other lot 2-1. So, as I said, right now, Sunderland have taken on 2 of the Sky 6. We've taken on 3 of the Sky 6. Sunderland have managed to beat 1, lost to 1. We've lost to all 3 so far. Not looking good in all honesty. But you know what? I do think over the course of time, when things start to steady out, I do think we're going to start getting some results, especially at home. In that new stadium at the moment, we should be getting the results. However, we will be playing at the Stadium Light. And Sunderland at the Stadium Light are one hell of a team. Even away, they're still one hell of a team. The way they operate with the ball, they like to move very freely with the ball. They can get it in transition really well, and the speed they've got is actually quite frightening. The fact that their summer business is some of the best that I've seen so far in this season. I mean, quite frankly, if there was an award for, summer transactions or summer business, they should be actually winning it, because they've done so well to get the players in that they have. I mean, obviously, they've used Joe Bellingham They've sold him off. Did they sell him off to Real Madrid? I'm not too sure off the top of my head. It's going to be down here if I'm right or wrong. But yeah, they've sold him off. And the money that they've gained from that, alongside the promotion money, they've invested it really well in some really good players. And right now, they're really flying at the moment. I mean, what's his name? Thiago's doing really well for them. I can't think of the names of them off the top of my head. Quite a few of them have got really complicated names, but a couple of their lads got really good, really good performances going so far. I think their top scorer is currently rocking 4. And from there, I think there's quite a few single goals rocking down the line. If I'm not mistaken, I think one's got 2. But it's still a Sunderland team that is very threatening. They're very good on the counter-attack. They can press very well. They like to operate with a high line. So being able to sort of get behind the high line can be a potential weakness. But even then, their defence is quite scrappy. So if you are someone who's going to get behind the back line and, try and get away with it. So let's say we're on the counter and we just loop one over. If we've got a fast enough striker to get past them, we need to make sure that striker is going to basically get the ball, get as close as he can and score before he gets tackled, because there's a good chance he's going to feel that someone's legs coming from behind him and just taking him out. They are very fast and very scrappy defenders, so they are really a team to keep an eye out on. But how is Everton going to go about this? Now, I've made 2 lineups here. So one of them is going to be the Moyes lineup and one of them is going to be my lineup. Why have I done like this? Well, let's be honest. How David Moyes has got himself is he's set in his ways. He trains with these players day in, day out. He understands their strengths and weaknesses. But as a fan base, we can see things from the stands. We can see things in the telly. And we have our own opinions as well. So what I've put out and what Moyes has put out is probably about a 3 or 4 player difference. So let's have a look, shall we? Right, so this is Moyes' lineup. So as you can see, Pickford in goal, Mikalenko at left, Tarkowski in the middle with Michael Keane and Jacob Brown on the right, with Idrissa Gana Gueye and James Garner running through the middle, both of them operating as number 6/number 8s. Jack Grealish on the left, Ilman Ndiaye on the right, Drewsby Hall in the middle, with Barry up top. He's been making a lot of hints about Barry potentially starting, and Tiana Barry's made no bones about it himself. He's actually put it all over his social media, saying it's time. Let's do this and all that. Also, support Everton in the community, guys. They're a really good charity. This isn't sponsored, by the way. This cup I actually got from the Everton 10K, and it's actually a really good cup as well. It's got me coffee in. But yeah, so this team, the lineup is okay. However, there's a couple of little niggling issues that I've got. What I like to take into account here is Tarkowski and Michael Keane. Individually, good defenders. Working together, though, they're not great. They are really not great because of the fact that they both, for one, operate very similar to each other. They're both clear it out and just get it out type of defenders. They're not playing it from the back and sort of moving the ball upwards kind of defenders. They're more concerned about just lumping it upfield or passing it to the easiest outlet possible. Now, granted, Michael Keane can spot a good cross. I've seen him time and time again basically launch a ball and put it onto a dime to the likes of Ilman Ndiaye, Jack Grealish, made him roll a couple of times, as well as Tyler Dibben. And even last season when he had a bit of a run, he was putting it on a dime to Jack Harrison. So he's really good in that regard. However, the two of them also don't look like they trust each other in a way. When the two of them are operating on the same field, it creates a bit of a vacuum. And it's normally down to the fact that one doesn't have the other one's back. They seem to think, right, I just can't trust you, so I'm going to take this person. You've got that person sound. But if they trust each other, they operate a little bit better. However, that's not the case. And Jacob Bryan, don't get me wrong, really good player. Good bit of pace about him. However, he's not your standard, right back. He's just not your standard right back. Look at most of the right backs in the Premier League at the moment. Not a lot of them are over 6 foot. Most of them, you're sitting around the Mikalenko sort of height, anywhere between maybe 5'9" to 5'11". Hell, just on the 6 foot mark seems to be around that point of, okay, you've got a few there. Jacob Bryan sitting about 6'4", 6'5". He's more suited to the centre-back role. And I mean, Keenan Drewsby Hall's the other one. Keenan Dewsbury Hall's more of a number 8. That's how he's had success with the likes of Leicester, the likes of Chelsea. That's where he's shone the best, because he's able to get the ball from the middle of the park and he's going to distribute outwards. You even see this when he's playing for Everton. He likes to fall further back and get the ball from deeper in field to distribute out. So having him in a number 10 position, don't get me wrong, it has had its success with the likes of against Wolves and co. But it's just, it's a formula that's not working at the moment, and we are getting caught out by it. And also, you can see Barry up top. Like I said, Beto, he's just had a bit of a stinker as of late. He's just not been able to hit the nail on the head or hit the ball on the goal. So I do think this is the situation where Barry will be making his next start. And granted, he probably might not have a great run. He might not do well. But we've seen it in the past, and we're going to see it again in the future, where when the other person comes on, normally at half-time, or even at the 50, 60-minute mark, they seem to make a bit more of an impact. I mean, this happens against Tottenham Hotspur, where Barry came on, and he actually looked a bit more threatening and better. He was moving the ball about a bit more. He was actually having a bit more of a crack at it. Unfortunately, he didn't score, but there was a little bit more promise there. Right, so that was Moyes' team. This is how my team would be set up, personally. So, as you can see, same sort of situation when it comes to the formation. However, you can see 4 changes. So, instead of Michael Keane, we're going to have Jacob Bryan in the middle alongside Tarkowski. Like I said, use the height, and he's someone who can actually move the ball at his feet. He's not afraid to get into the thick of it and try and push it out. So I'm happy in that regard. James Garner, he can play at right back. He has done this time and time again. And we know he likes to go upfield. He likes to explore upfield. So it's not a situation of, oh, he's going to leave us out in the lurch, or he's going to, have us out in the... He's going to get himself caught out of position or something like that. No, not going to be the case at all. He's going to do well in that sort of position, I personally think. Don't get me wrong, his best position is middle of the park, but he is a better right back than Jacob Bryan is a right back, in my personal opinion, and what I've seen in the past. Also, we've got Dewsbury Hall falling into James Garner's position as the number 8. As I said, he's had much better times when he's operating as number 8, and with just a Gay operating around the middle. I mean, hell, if just a Gay's legs start to go a little bit, because to my mind, just a Gay's 36, knocking on 37. I could even be wrong on that one. He could be even older. I think he's either 36 to 37, but I've got good confidence that he's actually 36 going on 37. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity for the likes of Mill and Roll to start making an impact in that position. So I do think potentially even a half-time or the 50, 60-minute mark, I would be swapping Ajustegay out for Mill and Roll. This would probably make our lineup a lot more attacking, because he's one of those sorts of players who's a number 8 who likes to push forward. So in them situations, it could even be Timmy or Burnham. So we could potentially see it where you could do a double swap. So let's say Dewsbury Hall's not cutting the mustard. Mill and Roll takes him over. Ajustegay's not doing too great, or he's having a bit of a hobble around and he looks fatigued. Timmy Burnham takes over his position. So we have got the like-for-likes there in that regard. And we do need Mill and Roll to get more minutes. Let's be honest, he's a bloody good player when he comes on. But I digress. Let's go to the third change. So, actually, we're going to go to the fourth change. Apologies. So the fourth change would be Charlie Alcaraz. So he would be falling into the number 10 position. As we saw against Crystal Palace, Alcaraz in that number 10 position is a really good one for the centre forwards, so that being Tierney Barry, because he just opens up a lot more channels. Alcaraz will lure in defenders. He'll make them try and challenge him. He'll basically say to them, come on, come at me. Let's see what you've got. From there, he will create openings for his striker to go into, for him to then pass it on and open up a nice little through line for whoever's going to be on the receiving end. So Barry, let's put it like this. The opportunities Beto's had versus the opportunities Barry's had, the night and day difference. Beto has had it basically on a silver platter. Barry has had to scrap and fight to get his opportunities that he's had go awry. So I do think, given Barry a lot longer, I would say give him 60, 70 minutes. I do think we will potentially see a goal here. Because as we know, we got Grealish, we got Ndiaye operating wide. We need to rely on them less. So we need to distribute it. We do need to distribute it. So let's say, for argument's sake, in a match situation, Pickford's got the ball, goal kick, brings it out to Tarkowski, or brings it into the middle of the field for Drewsbury Hall or Jessica. From there, he's got one of 3 options rather than 2. So we can either pass it to the left for Grealish, who hopefully will have Mikalenko overlapping him. He can pass it to the right for Ndai, who could potentially have James Garner or even a Jessica Gay overlapping to try and create a bit of an opener. Hell, even likewise, Alcaraz could help him out in that regard. He can push over to the right or to the left to give these guys an opportunity for an outlet. Or he can go into the middle, put it straight through to Alcaraz, who then can have Iliman Ndai or Jack Grealish come inwards for him to say, right, let's see what we can do here. He can then lower defence, have them to create, just try and bring it in, try and either compact it or bring a couple of players out of position. Have Barry try and find an opening just ahead of him, put it through, have Barry have a crack at it. Because as we know, Barry, in the previous teams he's been with, he's your final touch. He's pretty much someone where you loft it into the box or you put it into the box and he will be the guy who gets onto the end of it. There's not many videos that I found online and highlights and everything like that where he's basically picked up the ball, ran with it, and then scored. So in these situations, it could be potentially where Drewsbury Hall brings it through into Alcaraz. Alcaraz then distributes it towards either Ndai or Grealish, and they will bring it to the wide mark with either Mikalenko, Garner, Idrissa or Drewsbury Hall, offering them with support, putting him into the box, and hopefully, in them situations, Barry should be able to get onto the end of it. Otherwise, it could even be where, let's say if it's Ndai, Grealish will then be there to try and clean up, or vice versa, where Grealish puts it in and Ndai should be the one to clean up. But as we know, everything is all good talking about it on paper. Proof's in the pudding when it comes down to the match day. It's a late one again, a Monday 8 o'clock kickoff. These games are killers, I'll be honest. I am going to be knackered for work tomorrow. Sorry, I'm going to be knackered for work on Tuesday, should I say. Not working tomorrow. Pardon me. But yeah, so that's my thoughts anyway. That's my lineup versus what Moyes has put as his lineup. So the Moyes lineup being like this, we've seen it time and time again. Most other Premier League teams are expecting this. So that's why I think going for something like this would be a lot more beneficial. It mixes things up a little bit, and we haven't changed too much in all fairness. Basically, the only player who's coming out that's not in the normal lineup is pretty much Michael Keane. Michael Keane's coming off, and Alcaraz is taking his place as a number 10 rather than, centre-back. So it's pretty much you're shuffling 3 players around, removing one, and replacing it with Alcaraz. And to be honest, looking at this team, this is an extremely attacking team. This is a team, if you put these in away from home, it's really something to put the home team on the back foot. They should be able to go out at the gates and really try and go for that quick goal. Get one inside of the first 10, 15 minutes and really put Sunderland on the back foot. Now, don't get me wrong. Absolutely love Sunderland. Love their fan base. They are some of the best guys around. Definitely one of the best teams in the Northeast, let's be honest here. They outshine many other teams in the Northeast, especially that one who wear black and white. Forget what their name is, It's probably not really important anyway. But, yeah. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Sunderland, especially with the whole thing with Everton, the Bradley Lowry Foundation and all that. It really does warm my heart when Everton do things like that for charities. But I digress. Let's put an end to this. What are my back positions? I don't want to say. I'm thinking of 1-0. I am thinking a 1-0 win for Everton. It's off the cusp, like. But I do think there could be a potential here for a little cheeky 1-0. It could be anything. It could be Alcaraz comes in and scores an absolute cracker. It could be Grealish gets another goal. It could be an Ndai bursting there. It could be bloody O'Brien coming in for a corner. I mean, hell, if it's windy enough, it could be a Pickford's doing an impersonation of Tim Howard. But I do think Everton might be the one walking away with a single goal in this one. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. But yeah. So, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who has watched this. Also, like to say a big thank you to our Cup of Coffee guys over here. If you want to be like these guys, and get your name down in the box here below. Also, in the second scene as well, as you're seeing right there. If you want to be there for when I'm doing the pre-match stuff. become a part of the School Science Cup of Coffee tier. It's less than £1 a month, and it does contribute to the channel massively. It does help us massively with all the stuff around this. So whether that be hardware, software, apparel stuff, whether that be, filming equipment, it does help massively. You cannot imagine what a simple pound does to help this channel so much. But in any case, guys, as I said, if you liked it, you know what to do. If you want to suggest anything, put it in the comments below. If you want to share this, by all means, share this. If you are new to the channel, how's it going? Hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon as well for the notifications, because we do upload. Don't get me wrong, we do upload on a very regular basis. It's only 1 to 2 videos a week, but sometimes we get a little bit more. So, get it down there, get your notifications when you see all these sorts of things going live and all that. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Up the fucking toffees, and peace.